Hello again, YouTubers, on with SpongeBob 101 back here again on the SpongeBob channel with SpongeBob news for today, February 11th, 2024. It's been a very long while since I did one of these, but I think there is sufficient stuff to talk about today because we're going to start off with new SpongeBob premieres. In fact, tomorrow we're going to be getting episode 296B, Squid Box, premiering on Nickelodeon USA, along with a couple more in the coming days and weeks. So let's take a look here on SpongeBob or Encyclopedia SpongeBobia. And of course, again, Squid Box, episode 296, Squidward takes a trip inside the imagination box and must rely on SpongeBob and Patrick's creativity in order to escape. So sounds pretty cool, kind of like a follow-up from Idiot Box. Then we have episode 298, A Mumageddon, premiering on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2024. The Krusty Crew get lazy when their moms take over the Krusty Krab. Also on February 14th, so we're going to get a pair on that day. 298B, Pet the Rock. And it's Patrick's new pet, Rock, catching the eye of a mischievous rock collector. So that's interesting and weird. It kind of reminds me of the googly eyes rocks as well as Rocky from, well, the Great Snail Race. So it's kind of a mishmash of those two. Then on February 20th, 2024, we will have the premiere of episode 299A, Tango Tangle. Plankton and Karen take dance lessons and quickly become the top of the class. Episode 299B, Necro-Nom-Nom-Nomicon. It premieres on Nicktoons on February 20th, 2024, and then on Nickelodeon on February 26th, 2024. Kind of a weird arrangement, honestly, but, well, it is what it is. Equipped with a magical spell book, SpongeBob cooks up chaos in the Krusty Krab kitchen. So those are the, well, scheduled episodes for now, at least in the month of February, but we also have new Patrick Star Show episodes premiering this month, and we are starting off with episode 32A, the Commode episode. February 13th, Patrick gets stuck in the bathroom. 32B, Tying the Clop Knot, premiering February 13th on Nicktoons and then February 15th on Nickelodeon. Bunny and Cecil need to get married again. Episode 33A, Chum Bucket List, premiering on February 21st, 2024. SpongeBob helps Patrick fulfill his bucket list. It does remind me of the Snail Mail episode, basically, or the Pen Pal episode. And that was an interesting one as well, because that had planes in it, by the way. Episode 33B, Big Baby Patrick, premiering first on Nicktoons on February 21st, and then on the next day, February 22nd on Nickelodeon, Patrick has a nostalgic meltdown. Then 34A, Is There a Director in the House? February 27th, while Squidina is away at camp, Patrick needs a new director. 34B, Star Cruise, on February 27th, on Nicktoons, February 28th, on Nickelodeon, the Star family is abducted by aliens. And 35A, Best Served Cult, on Leap Day, by the way, February 29th, 2024, the enemies of the Star family team up to exact revenge. Finally, 35B, Tattoo Hullabaloo, Bunny loses a tattoo. Not very interested in that. I'm not a fan of tattoos, so yeah. February 29th, 2024 on Nick. Not sure exactly why the split in Nicktoons and Nickelodeon, but if you guys know, let me know in the comments. But yeah, so those are the new episodes for February 2024. We are already 10, or at least 11 days into the month now, so not too much long to go before we get all of these premieres, and hopefully I'll have some time to review them. So now we go to our next order of business. So today, February 11th, is when the Super Bowl is happening, so I figured it would be appropriate to bring this up. Nickelodeon and CBS Sports reveal details for a slime-filled Super Bowl. Alrighty, so live from Bikini Bottom, it's going to feature SpongeBob SquarePants and Patrick Star live in the booth alongside CBS Sports' Nate Burleson and play-by-play announcer Noah Eagle. Sunday, February 11th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern between the 49ers and the Chiefs. So now this is really cool because previously there was a whole bunch of like hype, hoping that Band Geeks or like Sweet Victory, right, would be playing at the Super Bowl in tribute to Stephen Hillenburg and just celebrating SpongeBob, but we got like a little bit, but was mostly a nothing burger. So this time they've had time to plan, prepare, and they are about to execute the plan. right? Nickelodeon and CBS Sports revealed production elements for the first ever Super Bowl alternate telecast airing exclusively on Nickelodeon. So this is actually going to be on Nickelodeon, not on the main broadcast, of course. So, Live from Bikini Bottom will feature enhanced graphics and advanced augmented reality, bringing the historic slime-filled telecast to SpongeBob SquarePants' undersea home. I hope there's actually going to be like a recorded version of this. Paramount's multi-platform coverage of the Super Bowl will feature CBS Sports' presentation on CBS Television Network and blah, blah, blah. Right, so for the first time ever, characters from SpongeBob SquarePants will join the telecast live with an animated SpongeBob SquarePants, voiced by Tom Kenny, of course, and Patrick Star, voiced by Bill Fagerbakke, joining CBS Sports, blah, 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 live in the booth to call the game. So they will actually be using their SpongeBob and Patrick voices, and apparently the animated SpongeBob and Patrick would be, mouthing those words, I presume, which is actually really quite cool. Sandy Cheeks, voiced by Carolyn Lawrence, will make her sideline reporting debut, while Larry the Lobster, voiced by Mr. Lawrence, provides live commentary. Okay, so I'm not sure why in this graphic here Larry is not in the CGI or the AR or whatever you want to call it, but it's just weird. Maybe they didn't bother to animate him for some reason. So we've got a snippet of what it could look like in the booth. You've got the actual real life presenters here. Then we've got the AR SpongeBob and Patrick over here, which presumably will have Tom Kenny and Bill Fagerbakke behind the scenes, right, speaking. And, of course, the front would be SpongeBob and Patrick. We've also got Sandy, as the article says, so that's really, really quite cool. The event will feature a can't-miss opening segment from Allegiant Stadium recreating SpongeBob's iconic Sweet Victory performance, hijinks throughout the game from fan-favorite villain Plankton, appearances from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, reimagined and zone cannons that fire slime, Krabby Patties, and pickles. It kind of reminds me of that little, NFL game thing that they did, I think, back in 2020 or 2021. So maybe this is a natural thing that they're building on it. Undersea AR jellyfish within the stadium, slime trails and pineapples, surprise appearances from beloved Nickelodeon characters in the crowd, and will blah 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 continue to showcase one-of-a-kind content and Nick-themed elements throughout, including guest appearances, original on-field graphics, virtual filters, and more. So there's also going to be the SpongeBob Super Bowl party, which has already taken place. They basically preparing for the Super Bowl and getting a glimpse of the town's game day rituals. SpongeBob SquarePants' realistic fish head, voiced by Mr. Lawrence, will recap highlights and slimelights from the biggest night in sports. So, yeah, fantastic. To celebrate the first ever Super Bowl alternate telecast, Nickelodeon is inviting kids and kids at heart to climb through its splat portal into the inflatable Bikini Bottom Super Bowl Spectacular at the Super Bowl Experience in Mandalay Bay South Convention Center. Fans will have the slime of their lives as they bounce on a larger-than-life Krabby Patty, toss Krabby Patties into SpongeBob's mouth, pose for a slimy photo op with the NFL Slime Time MVP trophy, and more. There's also a tie-in with the new SpongeBob Roblox simulator here. From February 2nd to 19th, users can earn Super Bowl SpongeBob-themed rewards by completing quests in each and across all 5 experiences, participating in pre-game trivia, interacting with SpongeBob characters, and more. Of course, we've got exclusive products, including SpongeBob SquarePants t-shirt, and special apparel and accessory collabs with New Era, Homage, and Chalklane. So it's a whole integrated program here. We've got, the actual event itself, we've got the products, we've got a time of the game, and all that. So really exciting stuff. Now, I'm not a sports guy. I'm not going to pretend like I am. But one thing I thought was really cool, if I can pull up a photo here, SpongeBob on the Las Vegas Sphere. I thought this was super duper cool. We've also got Patrick, as you can see right here. And yeah, fantastic that they made use of the Sphere to advertise the Live from Bikini Bottom exclusive event. So that's the NFL stuff. Fantastic. We also have this other article here from comicbook.com for February 7, 2024. It says, SpongeBob SquarePants cast celebrates 25th anniversary ahead of the Super Bowl takeover. So I want to quickly go through what this article has to say, get a little glimpse at what's really going on in the production of this, well, franchise. And one thing about this whole collaboration or event with the Super Bowl is it makes SpongeBob go beyond, or it reignites the cultural phenomenon that SpongeBob is, rather than just simply having the show going on and on, having it expand into different facets of real life, in this case sports, is actually really good for publicity, and it does create a more greater cultural impression of SpongeBob. Okay, so it's absolutely getting to speak with you, because I remember like it was just yesterday learning to drink my pinky up and calling myself Dirty Dan. Now it's been 25 years of SpongeBob SquarePants, and things are kicking off with a full Super Bowl takeover. Do I have to ask the three of you? I do have to ask the three of you. Has this huge milestone sunk in? And firmly grasp it, of course. It's too unnatural. Just a wide array of people that share their joy and love for the cartoon and its incredible job. We've had a good fortune of having a part. It's constantly a beautiful, fulfilling experience for me. And also, Carolyn Lawrence is surreal and mind-blowing. Firmly grasp it. Tom Kenny says, the SpongeBob world is always kind of in full swing. It's like a treadmill set on 11. You're just working on stuff every day, and then there's stuff that isn't SpongeBob, and then that's the Super Bowl thing. Would you be interested? Yeah, why not, right? So you get pulled in. Absolutely. So when did it feel special? Right, so this really has to go to the series, not the Super Bowl per se. And Bill Fagerbakke starts us off by saying that when the show debuted in 1999, he had really young kids, and suddenly people were recognizing him as the voice of Patrick. So that was really cool. I mean, if you put yourself in his shoes, that would be pretty amazing as well. Likewise, Tom Kenny, he was basically, his kids were older, right? And it says, it's the same cast, the same show, a lot of the same writers, the same animators. It's nice comfort food constant in American life. And it's weird how long it's been on, right? So one cool thing is the voice actors are actually freelancers. So they're not programmed to think of themselves as, things that are long-term, which is really interesting. I always assumed they would be working for the studio, or at least have a contract with the studio. They do have a contract with the studio, just not the same way as an employee of, say, Nickelodeon would be having a contract with Nickelodeon, right? So, yeah, then he says, it hasn't sunk into me how big it is and multi-generational. When I go to Comic Cons and stuff like that, that's when you really hear about that aspect from people, how many years they've been watching it, how many man hours they spend watching it, how their kids watch it, they watch it with their parents. So, really, really big stuff. Carolyn Lawrence says, it was special, the cast, the creator and the cast with Stephen Hillenburg. It was special, and for the first 3 seasons, every week she was, quote, oh, are we still going to do this? Oh, are we still going to do this? So, yeah, Kenny agrees with that. And, Lawrence says, and then here we are, 25 years later, and they are still doing it. So, really fantastic stuff. The fact that we haven't had the need to change voice actors, barring like Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, which is, unfortunate, but it is what it is. That's just reality of life. But thankfully, the main cast, SpongeBob, Patrick Stewart, Mr. Krabs, Plankton, Sandy, they've never had to change voice actors, so that's really fantastic. The SpongeBobiverse, I think this is so much better than calling it SpongeBob Universe. Nickelodeon should just take this right now. Take it. Okay? You've got your brand there, SpongeBobiverse. No one talked about this Popeyes verse, the Bugs Bunny verse. I don't know. Everything's universe building now. That is kind of what the world is now. And, pros and cons here, okay? I've been mostly positive about it because I'm just happy to have new content to watch, enjoy, laugh at, and just appreciate the dumb humor So yeah, I don't think too much about things like that. But yeah, then they go on to talk about the Super Bowl, right? So SpongeBob has grown outside of his universe too. It's like with memes online that are just taking a whole new life outside of that. And now with the Super Bowl takeover, you have to be on your toes because who knows what's gonna happen. And then with SpongeBob's version, we're getting teases of plankton and all sorts of wild shenanigans. Again, we saw this vaguely or briefly spoken of in the press release. And I'm actually really quite interested to see how deep the integration goes with the program, with the simulcast or whatever you want to call it, the alternate broadcast. Okay, so Patrick in his Fagerbakke in his Patrick voice. Well, I'm brushing up on my jellyfishing because I think a jellyfishing tournament might break out. You don't know, maybe Patrick Mahomes likes jellyfishing. And then SpongeBob says, the big jellyfishing game, so they clean up after the Super Bowl mess and they're bringing in the jellies. So, yeah, that's really cool. And we are just inhabiting our characters the way we've been doing it for 25 years. Now, one thing I've always actually wondered is because, SpongeBob and Patrick, they're really silly, sometimes really quite dumb. I wonder how do they reconcile that with like real life, having the code switch every day once they get out of the recording studio, going back to their kids, to their family, to their friends. Maybe all of them just appreciate it, but I'm pretty sure there is a limit, right? Like, I mean, they probably don't want to act silly and dumb in real life either. Yeah, so you're just in character, you're ad-libbing in character, you're reacting as this alter ego that's been sharing head space, brain space with you for over 25 years. So it's okay. And then the technology, the motion capture should work flawlessly. So how do you think the guys down there in the field feel? Talk about pressure and talking about all the pressure of being a tiny part of the Super Bowl. But so basically saying, he has less pressure than the players, than the football players. And if it screws up for us, then it's just something dumb. They do a little bit of the Super Bowl predictions here. The winner, I like it. That's straightforward. Bikini Bottom is taking it home. Absolutely. Team Squidward here. Squidward's gonna take home the prize. Even though he wasn't like playing the game, he was just supposed to be the conductor in place of Squilliam. But yeah, I kind of think about it too much or I get totally freaked out. So fantastic interview, a little bit of a glimpse behind the scenes of the three main voice actors. Too bad Roger Bumpus isn't here. I would love to hear him, because in the show, SpongeBob, Patrick, then you have Squidward. So Squidward's kind of like the balancing force to retain some common sanity in the show. But yeah, fantastic interview. Again, if you guys want to read any of the stuff we looked at in this video, links are in the description box. We have to end off with this very interesting thing here. SpongeBob SquarePants and Crocs Classic Clog, Patrick's star. So Crocs, to me, has always been a brand that I've tried to stick with for the longest time. I transitioned from their clogs to their loafers because I thought it was really comfortable, but then they discontinued the loafers. And now Crocs is apparently making a fashion comeback because these days, at least as where I live, Crocs are pretty common again. So, Nickelodeon Crocs cashing in on the hype with the Patrick Star clogs, which I will try to pick up. We've got some fixed gibbets here. I assume these are included on the shoe itself. So again, you can see Patrick, you can see the mayo, Patrick's rock, and then 45 SPF. And also we've got the duh expression and the happy expression on Patrick. It's just a little strange having to put your foot literally on his face, if you think about what you're doing there. Then we have the back here, it says an instrument, so I assume the other side says mayonnaise, presumably. So yeah, that is that. No price just yet and no release date, but just a couple days ago, I think a day ago from the day I'm recording this, we apparently have a SpongeBob SquarePants Classic Clock coming as well. So we'll get a SpongeBob version. And if this is, I'm not really sure if this is real, but this is just what I found. And it looks so strange. It looks stranger than the Patrick one, because this time we've got SpongeBob's pants on the side there, right? We've got his arms as gibbets and his tie, and it looks wrong, man. Okay, if you look at it from the top down like this, it's perfectly fine. So SpongeBob's determined and SpongeBob's just happy. But if you just look at it from the side, it looks so wrong. So I think if I had to pick one, I would still go with Patrick's. But you know, I'm a SpongeBob kind of guy, so maybe I'll just pick up both. Hopefully it's not too costly because... Oh, and also it doesn't say mayonnaise is mayonnaise an instrument, so it doesn't have that, like, extra patch on the back. It just says Crocs, which is perfectly fine. I mean, and we do have a quick comparison here of both the clogs, right? So the SpongeBob one, as you can see, it has that extra, well, text tab on the back attached on, where, you know, you see Patrick's and SpongeBob's expressions there. But in terms of the gibbets, I definitely think the Patrick one is cooler. In terms of the overall design, I do like the SpongeBob one. So maybe that's the reason why they did it like that, and they just want you to buy both. So hopefully it's not too pricey. But, you know, with how it's going, it's probably going to be pricey. Anyways, that's all for our very long SpongeBob news video for today. Basically summarizing all the stuff I really wanted to cover, but I didn't because I'm so busy with work. But to all of you who stayed till the end, thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video, and I'll see you guys again in the next one for more SpongeBob content. Till then, bye!